award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. I'm excited about today's show. We are at Tethrd headquarters here in Columbia, Tennessee. Yes, Tethrd is a Tennessee company. It's just awesome to be here with these guys today, and we're going to be talking hunting from a saddle. We're going to talk about late season deer hunting, all kinds of fun stuff. But first off, I just want to introduce my co-host, Mr. Barry Cross.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me. And yeah, this is exciting for me. I've never done an interview sitting in a tree.
Well, if you're not watching this show, now is the time to turn over to YouTube, unless you're driving. Wait till you get home and watch the show. We are hanging from a pole in their warehouse, which is really cool. And we've got Adrian Wilson with us and the founder, Ernie Power, with us.
Thank you.
To talk about Tethrd. I mean, this is awesome. Thank y'all for having us.
Sure. Well, first thing I wanted to just update is I'm a co-founder. There is another owner. He doesn't live here in Tennessee right now, but Greg Godfrey is the other founder of the company.
Awesome.
So just make sure, and clerical stuff there.
Sure, yeah. It's always great to have partners to make things happen. I know Tethrd has come a long way in a short amount of time. Y'all are leading the nation in saddle hunting, and I think this is cool, and thanks for having us.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm glad you could come in here. I got to admit, I've done a lot of podcasts, but this is the first one I've ever done in a saddle, so this is kind of a cool idea.
Well, they shoot a lot of deer hunts from a saddle, so why not shoot a show from a saddle? That's what I thought.
Sure.
And, we've had Adrian on the show in the past, and we've talked.
I'm sorry.
You know.
It's gonna be a tough one today, boys.
It could be. You got the boss in the house. But no, we've talked hunting and we've touched on saddle hunting, and I was just excited to be able to try one out today and see what it's all about. But first, I wanted to touch on the history of Tethrd and kind of how it came about. And I know we've chatted before the show here and kind of covered some of that, but I'd like to retrace our steps and share with the folks kind of how this company came about, how it was born.
Sure. I mean, the Cliff Note version is there was a handful of us that were already using similar equipment. At the time, however, you couldn't just go to the store and buy saddle equipment. It just didn't exist. There were some companies that had created saddles in the past and for whatever reason along the way had folded shop. And so there was one company at the time, Arrow Hunter, who was making a saddle, and we just wanted something different. So a handful of us got together, and selfishly, we just were making gear that nobody else would make for us and that we wanted ourselves. And our goal was just to make enough to break even. We said, hey, if we sell, I don't remember what it was, 100 saddles, it's enough to cover our costs and we can break even. And then if we sell, I don't know, 300, something like that, we'll have enough money, we can go on an elk hunt. And that was our pie in the sky goal. Like, if we really, really knock it out of the park, we can go on a guided elk hunt this fall. And that was what we wanted to do. And, fortunately for everybody involved, it took off. And in no time at all, we were 12, 13 weeks back ordered. And
wow.
In our first season, it took a lot to get caught up. We had to hire people. We had to learn logistics. We had, because none of us were business owners really at the time. I was an engineer. Greg was in the Army. The rest of the guys that were involved were kind of on a volunteer basis, and we just didn't expect it. But it's one of those things that it's got an appeal. People really liked it, and next thing you know, we're here. And just recently, we moved from Minnesota to Tennessee as part of our growth, and yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah. How do you like Tennessee?
I love it. No questions. I'm not turning back. Like there's no regrets. I love it here.
It's a place to be.
Well, there's just a multitude of reasons, and I could go on all day about it, but it's just I like it better here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and you talk about that those first days and how it just kind of took off. What are you, 4 or 5 years old now, or?
We'll be 5 years old. Right around, would it be Memorial Day in the spring. So we're pushing on 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And already moving up. And when you think of a saddle, that's what I think of. That's the first name that I think of when I hear about a saddle.
Sure.
And I'm glad to finally be sitting in one. These things are comfortable.
It's so fun to see because it's every new face that I see in a saddle, whether it's ours or somebody else's, is growing the sport. But it's so fun to see that aha moment when people are like, hey, wait a minute, this is more comfortable than I expected. This isn't supposed to be this comfortable. And then you see them kind of move around a little bit, and the wheels start turning, and all of a sudden you've created a new saddle hunter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And we'll get more into the saddle and kind of how it's built and techniques and what you're seeing here. If you're watching today, you're going to you learn a lot here today. But I guess let's jump into some of the benefits for a saddle. What's some of the benefits when it comes to hunting in a saddle? Because, I mean, you guys hunt. This is not just a company y'all threw together and created this. You've had experience in these saddles. Y'all hunt in these saddles and make sure they're what the hunter needs. But what's some of the benefits of these things for a bow hunter, for a gun hunter? Does it vary?
For me, I mean, the reason I got into it was I'm hunting public land, and most of the time I'm going pretty deep, and I hated carrying metal and bulk and all these things, and it was a no-brainer. Once I was skeptical, like a lot of people are. I mean, I've been doing it about 10 years now, and I got into it with a fellow buddy because we actually made our own. Okay. That's kind of the how Tethrd started, because you couldn't buy them. Mm-hmm. So being lightweight and mobile for me, I mean, was huge. And loving the fact that I could either wear it in or put it in my backpack. Like now, I walk in with a pack and my bow. That's it. Yeah. Everything is in the pack. I am very mobile in that way. Going with an old climber or a lock-on, it's bulky and
the weight by the time you get there.
Yeah, and that was the big draw to me. And then I realized the more I did it, I was like, man, there's so many features here that are helping me improve as a hunter, where I can take different shot angles and stuff. And I'm going to tell you, I feel safe with this rope all the time.
Yeah.
I'm constantly in a harness. You hear about hunter safety all the time, and hunters that are not wearing harnesses and they get injured badly and whatnot. I am, from the ground up, I'm hooked in, and I feel so much. If I fall off this thing, I'm just going to swing a little bit. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes you get bored, you start swaying. It's a little fun.
Yeah. If the deer aren't moving, you're just up there dancing a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, and if you fall one side or the other, you're still attached here.
Right. It's not like you're in that pleated harness where you're going to drop, and be facing away from the tree. If I fall off here, I just climb back up. There's no drop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is there a learning curve to this? I mean,
coming
from a tree stand, coming from a tree stand, do people get in it and go, ooh, I don't know? I mean,
anytime there's change, there's a learning curve. Some people adapt to it faster than others. But over the years, I'm still learning stuff that makes things easier for me. Tethrd's been awesome about being so creative and coming up with new ideas, because every time I'm sitting there thinking, what else can we come up with? Boom, these guys are knocking it out. And I think the learning curve is small. It's just about getting comfortable with your equipment. It's the biggest thing. And for me, it's repetition and having the same sequence going up and down, and then fine-tuning that to meet my needs. And that's the cool thing. What I like and what might meet my needs might be a little different from you. And even though we're doing the same thing, you can tweak it to meet your needs. And I really like that aspect about it.
All right.
Yep. And we go one step. I mean, every time we talk to anybody who's new to this, the first thing we say, take yourself a platform, put it 8 inches above the ground.
Kind of like we are today.
Set up. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Set up, put some targets out in your yard, get used to swinging around the tree, get used to doing what you need to, and learn how to tie your knots, how to clip in, how to do everything, how to move. Do it in the daylight in your backyard. Take some shots at weird angles. Get used to all that stuff. Because the last place you want to be learning how to do this is in the dark, 20 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
Get to where you're comfortable with it 8 inches off the ground, and then doing it at 20 feet should be second nature.
Yeah, it's just like any tree stand. I mean, as a hunter growing up, I didn't start with a climber at 20 feet, in the dark. You practice in the yard before you go out there. It's just kind of the same thing, and it's just amazing. Now, Ernie, we were talking before the show. You used to do tree trimming, is that right? Is some of that technology
absolutely
in this system that you've created?
It is. I mean, I've done a jack of all trades kind of along the ways, but one of the things I did do is I was a utility line tree trimmer. And I actually hunted out of my work equipment multiple times before this stuff was around.
That's awesome.
But ultimately, in the tree trimming industry, there's a lot of metal buckles, a lot of metal rings, because you're not trying to be quiet, right? But that is a heavy duty application, right? And that's a little bit overkill for what we need as a hunter. And I wanted to, create something that was a little bit more hunter friendly, quieter, easier to move, more comfortable for one.
Sure.
Most arborist saddles don't have a seat. They'll have straps here and there and whatever else, and they're, even in them for a couple of hours working around in a tree, you're feeling it.
Yeah.
And so Greg had the saddle basically from the beginning, and this is kind of where his line was while I was working on the platform, and it was just we just wanted to make it quiet, fast, easy, whatever. Still safe. We're using high quality materials. We're using stuff that's not going to break.
Definitely.
But we're trying to eliminate a lot of the metal on metal contact and some of the things that are in there, and then make it more comfortable for the user as well.
And your innovations just keep coming. I mean, it's not like you're sitting back and going, "Oh, we got this done and we're done." You're still pushing.
Oh yeah, I mean every day it's something, right? And I think a lot of that comes from we use this stuff. Mm-hmm. So even if we create something new and we're working it, maybe as a year goes on, we're like, man, it would be cool if we could do this, or if we had that, or if this was a little bit different. And so we're constantly adding to it. And, that's the saddle hunting game, too. I mean, a lot of these guys are industry forefront type people. They want the newest and coolest stuff, and so we try to get that for them. But we've done a really good job of just innovating and creating products that don't exist. If you start thinking about in the saddle hunting world, people don't ever call things dump pouches. They call them syshaulers, even if they're not from us.
Okay.
It's kind of the Velcro type of a deal. They're like, hey, I want to get something that's a hitch strap, but I want to know, a different ways to do it. Well, I mean, a hitch strap is a tethered product, but they're looking for a gear hanger, but they call it a hitch strap. They're looking for a dump pouch. They call it a syshauler. We've really been able to make these names of our product lines synonymous with generic items that are used in the woods.
Definitely.
And we've brought so many cool products to market that didn't exist. It's just fun to be part of that. We were going through the other day and just cleaning office and getting things ready and whatnot. And I found 15 different accepted patents in our box of things that we've brought to market that nobody has. So it's just cool to see that. You're seeing the growth of the sport, you're seeing the innovation, and you're seeing all of these cool things that we make, and it's because we actually use it.
Yeah. I think it's awesome that it makes you stealthier. It makes you it makes it easier to hunt these public lands, and even if you're a private land hunter and you can't go get your tree stands hung or get out there before you can move easier.
Yeah, and
I think it's awesome.
That's one of the things a lot of private land guys will say. I've already got my stuff up, which is great.
I'm one of those guys.
I would do the same thing, but
I do that.
What about that one stand that you're sitting that day and there's a line of deer coming out about 50 yards too far?
Mm-hmm.
If I rarely hunt private land, but if I do, and I'm in a preset whatever, I always have my saddle with me because it's my safety harness. It doubles as if I'm sitting in a ladder stand I put up for me and the kids to hunt out of. This is my safety harness, right?
Okay, yeah.
So if I am let's say I'm sitting in that stand by myself and I need to move, I can easily just go to any tree basically and get into where I'm in a good shot placement to get on those deer that were in that that one path.
Yeah.
But how many times do you hear about it? A guy puts a stand up, just like you're saying, and they see a whole bunch of deer. They get back to camp. They're like, man, I saw all these deer. They were 50 yards away. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to go there tomorrow and hope they come closer.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if you're walking in the woods and all of a sudden you see the freshest sign you've ever seen,
Right
and
there.
it's now or
you walk
never.
past the sign to go. Yeah. I mean, you can't. I mean, imagine this, right? Imagine you're fly fishing, and you're standing there in the creek, and all the fish are 50 yards away jumping. You're not going to stand there and hope they swim upstream. You're going to move down to them.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
it's the same type of a situation.
Well, but I'm going to jump around a little bit just right here. Comfort, we kind of touched on it, but if you're watching today's show, you can see we've got a few things that maybe are added on to the basic saddle itself. But talk a little bit about comfort and some of the the things that we have here to make it easier for the hunter.
Sure. Well, you're in a Phantom Elite, right? And so the Phantom Elite comes with some accessories that go in it, and one of them is the MVP backband.
Okay. So the backband comes with this one.
The backband's a part of it, but we've engineered a bunch of other things into the saddle itself. The adjustable bridge, the actual shape, the cut. Of how the saddle's put together, and then our comfort channels, which allow you to adjust the pitch of the saddle, and it allows you to kind of move the pressure if you want it more on your lower strap or more on your upper strap. You can adjust it with those comfort channels, and just the whole kind of system works together. It only takes little tiny adjustments to make a big difference. What I tell people all the time is just move your attachment to your tether up 2 inches and sit back down in it, and you're going to feel that difference. And the more you use it, the more you get used to what adjustment is what you like. And even over the course of a hunt, you'll know, okay, I want to move this, I want to do that. But yeah, there's a lot of different little things that kind of work in tandem to create that. And I mean, this is your first time in it, and it's been pretty good.
Man, I'm excited. This is awesome. And then you got the little knee band down here. As you squat down, the knees hit the band and kind of give you more comfort. You can take some of the weight off your feet for a while.
Sure.
And I mean, I think it's awesome. And what things that I think about, I'm in a deer stand and I'm sitting on my back's to the tree. In this case, you're using the tree maybe as a shield or kind of a barrier between you and where you think the deer are coming from.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. But then when it comes to shooting, I mean, good for a bow or a gun. Talk about how you can kind of get around these straps to shoot.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to show right now. We're looking like a jungle gym here with everybody in the tree.
But basics,
But in a tree this size, I can easily pivot my feet or pivot my hips and get around to where I can take a shot in any direction.
Yeah.
Now, some shots are easier than others, right? I'm a lefty, so for me, all this is easy. If it's anywhere in this area, I don't even have to really move. I can make small movements and get into it, but I can get over here. And that's where, when you have the situation where your back's against a tree in a tree stand, if a deer comes behind you in a tree stand, you got nothing,
right?
Unless it gets far enough off to one side, and only on one side, right? Because if it comes in on your weak side with a rifle, you can't get turned around and whatever else. So you've got that side and you got the front. This really gives you the ability to turn around, and it's really no different with a rifle or a bow. I would argue that it takes a lot less movement with a rifle to get into position, because I can lean up against a tree. I can do this. Yeah. I can get into a rifle shot way easier than I can with a bow.
And a lot of guys will use the tether as a rest for the rifle too, so you're not freehanding it. But like he showed you, you brace it against the tree or use your tether and whatnot. So it's definitely bow and rifle friendly.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. You got a lot of advantages here. Like, if you're sighting in a gun or shooting, walking through the woods, you're going to use that pole or a tree as a rest. You're not going to shoot freehand most of the time. So this gives you a lot of options. And it's not just off the front of a tree stand or off, to your strong side. You got both sides working for you here.
And you can, if you've got time and you can get nestled in, you can get all tied into your ropes and get really locked in, and make a longer shot if you need to.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now, this is one thing that people may not pay attention to right now, but if you've done any kind of hunting, you got to get up the tree. So I mean, you got other products, not just this that you're selling, and talk about a little bit about what thought has gone into those and how they are improving. I know you didn't invent saddle hunting, but it's like you're taking it to the next level.
Well, and our mission is always to make you as a hunter, faster, more efficient, and a better hunter, lighter, faster, etc., right? And our mission also as Tethrd was to be the one-stop shop for everything that you need. Now it's taken some time to get there. Over the years we've had to add product lines and etc. along the way. But yeah, so climbing sticks were part of that mission from the beginning, to be able to get up the tree, and that's where we came up with our two climbing stick lines. We've got our one sticks, which are famous for just being the lightest stick on the market. You just can't touch them. They're 20% lighter than anything else on a mock. Yep.
Oh, yes. incredible.
Yep. And they're sitting right at a pound. They may be a few grams over, but I mean they're lighter than anything else you're going to see there. And that's our premium line and etc. But we also have our Skeletors, which are turning out to be one of the best-selling sticks out there, simply because they're so full-featured. They're at a good price. They just work. They've been a great stick, and that's been a real nice thing for us. And it's just we'd like to offer, a premium line, and I don't want to call it a budget line, but one that's a little more reasonably priced, so that you have options as a consumer.
And you're constantly looking at weight, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, weight's always a big one, right? I mean, Greg came from the ultralight hiking world. For me, weight isn't as big a deal as bulk. I don't like stuff that just takes up a lot of space. So for me, like our platforms, if I didn't care about it, I would use the XL platform. But I don't like how big it is on my backpack, so I always take the little one.
Well, I'm on the little one today, and it's awesome. I mean, it's
Yeah, and it's not because of the weight, because I don't care about the weight. For me, it's the bulk. But for a lot of people, I mean, Graham Weenies exist out there.
Don't raise your hand, Barry. Well, and what's the lifespan on these things? A lot of people say harnesses, if you fall from them or use them for multiple years, that they need to be thrown out or get a new one. But what's the lifespan on a saddle, or is there a lifespan expectancy?
Yeah, so there is, and there's a couple of ways to answer that. One, anytime any of your equipment is subject to a fault, replace it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's done its job. It's done what it needs to, and you don't know how it's weakened whatever component, and you don't want to take a chance in case you fall on that one again. So first out of the gate, if they have any kind of a slip or anything, that should be replaced. That's just a regular rule. And as far as how long you're supposed to use these things, all of our stuff have basically a 5-year lifespan to it, and that's kind of industry standard. That's the same as if you're looking at tree stand harnesses, you're looking at any of that equipment. If stored and cared for properly, they say you should replace it after 5 years. Obviously, if you leave it out in the rain or the mice chew on it or whatever else, you're supposed to inspect your equipment before you use it, and if you see something funky, replace it. I mean, ultimately, we're trying to make sure people are safe here, and 5 years is kind of the guideline, but if you have issues, obviously replace it and err on the side of caution.
Sure. Yeah. I always want everybody to be safe out there for sure. Well, I kind of want to get into late season hunting. How much hunting have you done in Tennessee since you've been here? A little bit? A lot? You've been working hard, I know.
2 days.
2 days.
I've hunted 2 days in Tennessee since we moved down here. We moved down in June. I was hoping to get out this weekend. Life got in the way.
Yeah.
Didn't get there. You guys run a really long rifle season compared to what I'm used to in Minnesota. So
Tennessee's the place to be.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to getting out there and getting some time where I can, just get out for an afternoon or something. And my favorite part is it's not cold here. Coming down from Minnesota, by this time, basically,
you're ice fishing.
Well, yeah. When Thanksgiving comes along, I hide in my house and don't come out till Easter because I just hate the cold. And so once Thanksgiving comes along and I finish up my Wisconsin rifle season, I'm kind of done for the year. But here in Tennessee, I mean, it's 70 degrees today. So there's a lot we can do.
A little wet this week, and it's been it's warmer. It's strange temperatures right now, but the deer season, the gun season runs through January 8th. If you're hunting in Unit L, you've got the private lands only opportunity for antlerless deer. That's 9th through the 13th, January 9th through the 13th. Unit CWD has some extended seasons there, so check your guide. That's gives you a few more opportunities out there in Unit CWD. But Adrian, do you want to touch on? You lived in Tennessee for a while, so you're a Tennessee boy. Yeah,
I'm a lifer.
So. Late season, what do folks need to be looking for right now?
The rut's kind of trickled down. You might still have some does coming in late. I've had some success. I'm going to food sources at this point because, food sources are pretty scarce in late season, right? So I'm not usually one to hunt fields very much, but when that some of these, especially on the WMAs, they'll go in and sow some new stuff in there, and you get some fresh green grass in there. I've gravitated to that. I'm looking for that fresh growth because it is 70 degrees today. Yeah. It might be like that in January too. So there's a lot of new growth coming up. So the deer get back on patterns in. The bucks start grouping back up. The does are not spread out. They're kind of grouped up. So I'm still scouting. I think I've mentioned to you before, I'm still getting boots on the ground. Yeah. I'm looking for that fresh sign. And I'll glass fields in the evenings and kind of prepare, see what it's looking like, and I'll walk the fields and edges and look for that sign, and I'll go up into the woods that, I'm looking for their bedding and trying to figure out again, because these deer are going bed to feed, right, and back. So those are the things I'm looking for, hopefully that pays off because I still got a couple tags I need to fill. So, that's kind of it for me. I like. Our rifle season is longer than a lot of states. I like that I'm super mobile. Like one thing I do is with my rifle, because I want to be super mobile, I'll take this and I might not climb the tree. I might go to the base of the tree, and instead of taking a chair in, like a lot of guys take some kind of seat, I can go to the base of the tree. I don't have to have a platform or anything. The ground's my platform, and I can sit on that tree. And if I want to move in 30 minutes because I want to go somewhere else or whatever, that's awesome. We're talking. This is nothing again, and I'm using a saddle, but you don't have to climb with it. And I'm hiding behind the tree like I'm doing, and I like to be mobile during rifle season. Yeah. And I haven't, like I was telling Barry a while ago, I've been going out now. I have a little private land that I've gone to, and I'll take my saddle and I'll take a bow and a rifle because I like my bow so much. Yeah. But it's getting to that season. I ain't shot nothing yet, so that rifle might come in handy.
I'm still after them as well. It's still a good time to be out in the woods. You got plenty of time left to fill some tags, and so get out there real quick before we run out of time. Social media, you guys are out there. Tethrd Nation.
Tethrd Nation.
Okay. Yeah. So go check them out.
Instagram, Facebook,
YouTube. Got some YouTube stuff out there.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of YouTube stuff. Well, Barry, these saddles are now used, so they may have to go home with us. I don't know. I don't think they put them back in the box, Ken. No, guys, I appreciate y'all having us. This has been fun. Great products. I look forward to maybe getting one of these one day and getting out there and try some saddle hunting. I know Barry's done some a little bit, but it's.
I can test. This is nice. Nice product. I hope to give you some business soon.
Well, so. I was going to say Christmas is going to be here before you know it, and y'all probably get them to them for about a week, couldn't you? I mean, a week or less. Probably shipping is good, and you can have one and hunt the rest of the season.
Yep.
So. Yep. Merry Christmas. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Guys, thanks again for having us.
Thanks for coming. It's a pleasure.
This is Tennessee WildCast. Check us out. Follow us on our Facebook, our social media, all across the board: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. And remember, tnwildlife.org for all things wildlife, Tennessee wildlife. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee WildCast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.